The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Will Sunday be Aaron Rodgers' final game as a Jet and potentially his final game as an NFL quarterback? New comments from Rodgers certainly raise that possibility. We'll talk about that and more when Jets reporter Nick Faria joins us in his weekly spot on the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you spending time with us here on the channel. It's the second day of the new year. It's Thursday, January 2nd. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Appreciate you supporting the show each and every day. And a big shout out to all the incredible Asmaniacs who reached out, tuned in to the 2 weeks of morning radio I just wrapped up earlier today. I finally could sleep and don't need to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day to do 4 hours of radio plus this show. But I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Awesome show today, by the way. Jamie and Sherwood came on. He said his preference is to remain with the Jets when he hits free agency. Also had Herm Edwards on the program and SNY's Connor Rodgers. So I will likely post all three as YouTube videos in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. But joining us right now in his weekly spot on the show is Jets beat reporter for Athlon Sports and a good friend of the Jake Asman program. He's our guy, Nick Faria. Nick, Happy New Year, my man.
Happy New Year, buddy. Great to be back on.
So we got a lot to talk about. First things first, though. Chris J says, weekly bounty request for Nick Faria. There is no bounty on Nick. He hasn't even said any takes yet, so you can't even be upset, Chris. But I appreciate the super chat, as always. I do want to get into what Aaron Rodgers said yesterday and spend some time, breaking down his, potential future, of course, with the Jets and what it all means. But you were a big Jamie and Sherwood guy over the summer. He's had an awesome year. I had him on the radio this morning. So just your thoughts on what he told me, that his preference would be to stay with the Jets. New regime coming in, but I would hope a new GM would look at this team and look at Sherwood as a guy you want to keep.
He's going to be one of the pillars. You have to think. Quincy Williams going to be returning. You have Quinnen Williams inside, Will McDonald along the edge. Jamie and Sherwood's had a career year. He's done really good in coverage. I really do believe that it would be in the Jets' best interest if you're looking at any player to re-sign. Defensively, Jamie and Sherwood's at the top of that list. People are going to say DJ Reed. Some people would even say Chuck Clark because he wasn't bad, the Ravens safety, in some spurts this year. Unfortunately, injuries kind of got the best of him. But Sherwood, really good in coverage, really good against the run, and he's only going to get better. I think the common misconception of what this defense has struggled with this past year is people looked at the defensive struggles and said, well, C.J. Mosley's not on the field. He's the guy that gets everyone ready, all these other different things. At the end of the day, Jamie and Sherwood still had a great year. And the sort of encompassing fact of he's in his first year as a everyday starting linebacker. So to me, of all the players to re-sign, Jamie and Sherwood's at the top of that list. It really it doesn't make any sense for the Jets in this new regime to let a young linebacker like this walk. He's a drafted player. He's a developmental player. He is a success story for the previous regime. You don't just walk away from those guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Killian Ross writes in $500 Venmo to ban Nick Faria for the rest of the show and bring in J.J. Allen to do the show with you. I'll tell you what, Killian, I like Nick a lot, but if someone's going to pay me $500 to just not talk to Nick for just one show,
good Lord.
That's fine with me. I'll call Nick on the phone. I'll text him. You know what? I'll even send Nick some money to go buy lunch, and we'll call it a day. So, Killian, you Venmo Jake-Asman $500 right now. You got yourself a deal, all right? I will allow that, but I'll let YouTube get a cut of any of that. That's right to the bank account. So you got a deal, Killian.
That's a great fucking deal. You got to take it.
100%. So it's in your hands, Killian. Plus lunch and more is on me, Nick, if he comes through. But while we have you, I'm going to play Aaron Rodgers from yesterday. This was a lengthy press conference, but without having to play the whole thing and just giving the audience out there a little sample, here's Aaron Rodgers reflecting on his season with the Jets and then really reflecting on his life as a football player in the NFL.
Just a lot of gratitude for the last 20 years and the many countless lives I've encountered and amazing teammates and coaches I now call friends. Experiences I've had, memories, a lot of great memories, a lot of great people impacted my life. Ones that know it, ones that might not even know it, by just side comments or putting an arm around me at the right time. But not just those 20 years, I had great college coaches at Cal and in junior college and high school coaches. And, this game has given me a lot. I've given a lot back to it, and I'm thankful for it. I'm not thinking, I won't be thinking about that come game day. I'll just be enjoying this. I'm trying to stay in the moment. But, of course, it's been a long career. I'm really proud of what I've been able to be a part of, what I've been able to accomplish. And also looking forward to a nice mental and physical rest.
I mean, look, he sounds very reflective there on the totality of his career. He talked about being accepting of whatever the Jets will do, talked about having a lot of gratitude. He just sounds like a guy to me that maybe still on the fence if he's going to play next year, but is almost like resigned to the fact he's probably not playing for the Jets. I still want that decision, Nick, to be made by whoever the next general manager and head coach is, but the reality is I feel like most coaches, most GMs will probably move on from Rodgers. So I think Aaron knows that too. Your thoughts on what Rodgers was saying in that clip and just the press conference as a whole yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of seems like a quarterback that knows his time is ending, whether that means he retires at the end of the year or whether that means he's just away from the Jets. Pretty self-explanatory. When you have a player, an older player like this, reflective, that kind of is the writing on the wall. And again, right or wrong, indifferent, it doesn't really matter. It's going to come down to the new head coach. It's going to come down to the new GM. And the caveat here, of course, is that Woody Johnson has to be the one to hire them. So if the GM in an interview says, I want to keep Aaron Rodgers as the bridge guy, and the Jets do not hire that guy, well, then guess what? More likely than not, we can assume the team is going to move on from him to begin with. So obviously the decision still has to be made, but that decision, I think, can easily be solved whenever the team hires their next GM and head coach.
Is there any head coach you think that would want Rodgers back for one more year?
Rex Ryan, maybe? Rex Ryan, Ron Rivera, these defensive-minded guys, to me, they make the most sense because they're going to be the ones that need to win right away. You can have, if you hire an offensive-minded coach, whether it's Brady, whether it's Monken, if they were to draft a quarterback, you can make the argument that they're saying, okay, well, we're going to improve, but it's not going to be just an automatic 11-win team and everything's going to be hunky-dory and we're going to make the playoffs. Defensive coaches, the end result has to be you must win immediately. It's going to be happening with Vrabel. It's going to happen with Rex Ryan. It's going to happen with Brian Flores. And if that's the case, if they hire a defensive-minded guy, a veteran presence like that, then you can absolutely see a path to Aaron Rodgers potentially returning to the Jets as long as Woody Johnson signs off on that. I just don't see how that happens.
Garrett Wilson said yesterday that him and Aaron are all good, that he didn't really want to comment on everything out there, and that the idea that him and Rodgers are at odds is not true. So there's that. I mean, so look, whether Aaron's here or not, Garrett Wilson is going to be here. I've continued to say it. He could request a trade. I don't even think he will, but if he does, he's not going anywhere. But it does kind of open the door if let's say it's Vrabel and he's like, look, Aaron's our best option. The other options out there aren't any good. We're going to keep Garrett. We're going to keep Devontae. We're going to run a real offensive scheme, and I can maximize the talent here. To me, there's still a path to it. It's certainly less likely than maybe it was coming off the Jaguars game where he played really well. But, until he's actually not on the Jets, this decision needs to be made by the powers that be that are coming in, not by the owner who might be mad at Aaron. That to me is my big thing. We all have our opinions, but the only opinions that should matter are the next GM and the next head coach.
Yes. But the way the Jets run things and the way that NFL organizations run things is that they talk about it being a collaborative approach to roster building. What I mean by that is the general manager comes in with his scouts and says, I want player X. A head coach comes in with his people and says, I want player Y. And then the owner comes in and says, I want player Z. And all of these minds have to come in and collaborate to the point of saying, this is the best course for the organization and moving forward. The next question is going to be, how much trust does Woody Johnson have in these new hires? We've talked about it before. One of the big takeaways from the recent reports has been Woody Johnson's lack of trust with Joe Douglas, with Robert Saleh, with past coaches, where he didn't trust them to make the right hires. He didn't trust them to bring in the right people. So they only were allowed to sign free agents to 1 to 2 year deals, have short-term deals overall. If that's going to be the same case this offseason, where Woody is hiring a new general manager, but he's not giving him the full trust of building a roster in his image, then you absolutely can see the idea of Rodgers being gone, Devontae Adams being gone, and all these different things. So the question of collaboration is going to come up in this new cycle. If Woody Johnson has to be in the room for these decisions, I find it very hard to believe Rodgers is going to be back. But if he's going to sit back and say, hey, you guys do you, whatever you want, I want to see wins on the table, then that conversation does open up a little bit more.
I want to talk more about Garrett Wilson. I mean, he had a long answer to Rich Cimini, who spoke with him, but essentially said there's no truth to the idea him and Rodgers are at odds. I mean, I want Garrett Wilson to be a Jet his entire career. Your thoughts on his future with the team?
This is a massive, and I think people aren't really giving his comments due thought, because when you have anonymous reports like have come out for the last 2-3 weeks where Garrett Wilson could request a trade according to people close to him, if Garrett doesn't say anything, then that rumor follows him the entire offseason. It just does, because until he speaks on it, we don't have any point of reference of him saying he wants to be a New York Jet from now on. That's not what happened here. Garrett Wilson spoke out about these exact comments, about these exact reports, and said none of it's true. I want to be here. I want to help this team play. He's talking about the future. To me, this is a huge answer moving forward, because it essentially shows that Garrett Wilson is willing to play ball. To me, this is probably the biggest answer of the month of December, because it's finally a player coming out and saying, the reports you are hearing are not true. I want to be here. I have no problem with Rodgers. We're good. Let's move forward. When a player comes out like that publicly, that is where you have to take a player out on its word. I know people lie and everything about it. Coaches do it all the time. But when a player comes out with an anonymous report saying otherwise, you have to take the player for his word. That's just the reality of the situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Fiore, who cuts the line. It is laughable that Rodgers has taken so much blame for the culture when the owner fired the head coach and had his son hanging in the locker room and put in an incompetent interim coach. Can't overcome that. Look, I'm not saying Rodgers is blameless. I've spent a lot of time talking about this. But the issues with the Jets are so much more than just, oh, he's the quarterback. Like, come on. So I'm with you, Fiore. There are a lot of issues with this team. Aaron Rodgers' play, while not great, and at times has cost him some games this year, he has certainly played well enough, if this team was anywhere close to the team we thought they were going to be competitive for a playoff spot, if not in the playoffs right now. They're in the playoffs, Nick, if Rodgers gives you the exact same performance he's given the Jets this year on last year's team. That's what's so sad. It
is. And I don't really understand this complaint about putting blame on the culture. Everyone has to be blamed for this culture problem. It's not just Aaron Rodgers. It's not just Woody Johnson. It was Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas as well. Everyone has a part to play in why this team has 4 wins at this point in the season. Everyone has a part to play in the general manager and the head coach being fired. There is no one absolved from this. There's no one that just gets a pass for this. Maybe Garrett Wilson gets a pass. Maybe Breece Hall gets a pass. But by and large, this entire team, as a collective unit, has to hold the L here. I mean, they have been atrocious from the organizational structure of the front office all the way down to the roster. It hasn't been good enough. It's not just one person. It's not just the owner. It's every single person has a fault in what has transpired this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch this show, you know all month long, and now into January, we've been doing raffles for every membership gifted. You get a ticket with your name in it. Yesterday was an awesome show. So many raffle tickets. It got to a point where it's just going to take me 12 hours to write everyone's name on the raffle ticket. So I'm putting everyone's name in a random name generator. But figuratively speaking, you'll have a ticket with your name on it for a chance to win prizes. Our big time prize for this one coming up here, raffle number 10, is the Jet Mini helmet. We also have the Jet winter cap right here, which I will send to you, the Gusbuster umbrella, items from the merch store, New York Jets, trading cards, including some authentic Joe Willie Namath cards, and another Wayne Corbett authenticated rookie card. So we got a bunch of great giveaways. So for every raffle or every membership gifted or any $20 super chat or more, you get the exact amount of raffle tickets with your name. Let's shout out Chris J. He gifted a membership. And Bobby Midnight gifted a membership as well. So that's 2 so far during this show. Thank you both for that. Nick, as far as the coach search goes, GM search goes, we're still early on, of course, but names are starting to come out. Your thoughts on where we are with that and the potential timeline for when you think the New York Jets might have the next GM and coach in place?
I don't think anything's going to happen really transformatively for the general manager and head coaching searches happen until Black Monday. I just don't see anything close to being happening. Mike Vrabel is going to take his time. Monken can't interview for any coaching job until the Ravens are eliminated. Same thing with Joe Brady. So there's going to be a lot of names here that you don't hear from the Jets right away. And I think fans just need to sort of take a step back, recognize that this does take time. So again, Ron Rivera, Rex Ryan, all these other names, people are going to look at those names and say, what are the Jets doing? How could they potentially do this? How could they possibly build a cohesive winner with these kind of people that they're interviewing? This is a very long process. This takes time. This is not going to be solved in the first week of January, the first week after the regular season ends. This is going to take a long time, and fans need to be patient for it.
Well, the thing is, too, if they want someone like, let's say, Brian Flores or Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn, well, there's a chance that they're going to be playing deep into January anyway, and you're going to be waiting around to make it official if they go all the way to the Super Bowl, which is possible with some of those names we mentioned.
And again, there's nothing wrong if we're in February and the Jets have not hired a head coach. If they hired a GM like late January, there's nothing wrong with that, because what that usually means is you're hiring an assistant from a Super Bowl team, a team playing in New Orleans. So let's say that it's the Lions and the Bills in the Super Bowl. Well, if they're interviewing Joe Brady and they're interviewing Ben Johnson, so let's say they're interviewing those two players, those two coaches. They can't interview those guys. They can't give them an offer until the season ends. So I think people need to recognize that this situation is not going to be resolved right away. So even if you hear interviewing Ron Rivera, interviewing Rex Ryan, that doesn't mean they're favorites for the job right away because they're the first interview. It's not always the first interview that the team just buys into and hires right away.
Sexy Rexy, baby. Oh, yeah. You can't wait to cover that, Nick.
Good Lord. He hasn't coached on an NFL team in a decade. Like, if he was coming back for a defensive coordinator job, it would make sense. It would make a lot of sense. But if he's coming in for the head coaching job with no experience in the last decade, the league has changed since he was last the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. I just don't see how this is a smart fit, a smart move at all. Give him an interview, fine. But if you're going to make him the head coach, doesn't make any sense to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live right now, hit the like button. Mimosa is in for another 10 memberships. Are you kidding me? Mimosa, I have good news for you. Your Super Bowl III ring, plus a bunch of other items I threw in there, are on the way. I stopped by the UPS store after work today, and it is being sent out. Same with you, Rick Kent. Your Super Bowl III ring is being sent out, and the Curtis Martin, or actually the Wayne Corbett rookie card and other items that Jeffrey R. won was also sent out. So the 3 raffle winners for the big prizes, just know your items were mailed today. The ZA is in for 5 channel memberships. Oh, baby. Sound the alarms, Nick Faria. All right, real quick, let me just read the names here. KT, Ryed, Syed, Rob L, Johnny Danks, CL Smooth, Robert Hanan, Rex Ryan. Hey, what's up, Rex? Chris K, Matt P, Mike Dems, all receiving channel memberships. Those came from Mimosa. Here are the ones from the Zach, Luis, Steve V, David Sadowski, Trice G, Noel Negron, all receiving memberships. And by the way, Rick Kent, I see you're in the chat. I was told that Gator made a new updated version for your gifted membership video. I know you didn't like the first one. I was shocked it featured farting. So I haven't seen it yet, but Gator just uploaded it for me before the show. I was too busy this morning. So just know, Rick Kent, Gator, I believe, took good care of you. He made an updated membership video. So I guess we'll find out the next time Rick Kent does his thing. Nick, I also want to get into, just this game Sunday, because you look at the draft standings here. There actually is a path for the Jets to get as high as number 2. Now, a lot would need to happen, but they definitely could get into the top 5, if not the top 4, if like a couple things happen. For example, I think the Giants are beating your football team on Sunday, and they're going to screw themselves.
I really think so too. I think so too.
So I just think like if the Jets lose, which is no given. I mean, Tua's probably not going to play for the Dolphins, and the Jets play their best football when it doesn't matter. So there's always a chance that they go out there and do their thing. But it would dramatically change maybe the approach we talk about the quarterback scenario if they're in the top 4, and maybe they could trade up for a quarterback. Maybe one falls to them. Maybe it just, you know what I mean? It just opens the door for a lot depending on the outcome of this game on Sunday.
And I also think if Drew Aller, and I'll say this, if Aller's already announced that he's returning back to Penn State, with the way he's looked in the college football playoff, if he decides to sort of renege on that and go into the NFL draft, changes the entire complexion. But as of right now, go through the teams that are ahead of the Jets, the Browns and the Ravens. The Ravens need a win to win the division. Very unlikely. But the Browns have played the AFC North well. So while it's unlikely they win in Baltimore, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Tennessee's got 3 wins. They play the Texans. The Texans are playing for nothing. I would be shocked if we see any starters. You could see Tennessee potentially coming out with a win there. Carolina against Atlanta, flip a coin there. Carolina's played great down the stretch. You look at the Patriots and the Bills. The Bills aren't going to be playing anybody. Could New England walk in with a victory? Sure, that could potentially happen. Jaguars, Colts. The Colts have been eliminated. You never know about that game overall. Saquon, Jalen Hurts are not playing. The Giants could beat the Eagles. There is a path for the Jets to walk out of here, walk out of Week 18 with the 2nd overall pick, and maybe even potentially the 3rd. And if that were to happen, oh my God, would that change life for the New York Jets, because it would allow them to get into the sweepstakes for Cam Ward, for Shedeur Sanders, 2 of the top guys. And people are going to look and say, well, this isn't a strong enough quarterback class as it was last season. But the one thing I always look back to is 2016. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, those are the top 2 names of the quarterback carousel in the draft. Everyone said, oh, these aren't really strong candidates to be a top quarterback class. Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate at his peak. Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in football. Clearly, those 2 worked out for their respective teams, even with Carson Wentz's career going off the rails at the end due to injuries. Just because scouts say this isn't a strong quarterback class, doesn't mean it could become so much better. If the Jets are in position to land Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, it's a no-brainer opportunity. You reset the quarterback position for yourself. You allow yourself to have some semblance of a future and give yourself the tools to say, hey, we're going to build around this young quarterback more than we did for Sam Darnold, more than we did for Mark Sanchez and all these other guys. It is a clear-cut picture. It's very unlikely to happen, but there is a path to the Jets getting a top overall pick and allowing this conversation to happen. So very exciting time for Jet fans over the next week.
If any Jet fan has extra tickets for the game Sunday, I have a bunch of people that reached out that are interested in going. So as we've done for the last 3 or 4 home games, because this season has been a nightmare, if you're a season ticket holder, you want to donate your tickets to a fellow Jet fan who could take a kid to the game, their first ever game, a military veteran. I got a bunch of great people that want the seats, and I'd love to distribute it to those who could use them. So if you're someone who can't go to the game, it's a 4:25 game, so it's no longer 1 o'clock. You can email me, asmanjake@gmail. You can transfer me the tickets, and I'll make sure they get to people who could actually use them. We have probably given away now in total over 100-something tickets this year to Jet fans, so thank you to everyone that contributes to that and paying it forward to the people that could use them, which is awesome. Shout out to the Asmaniacs for always coming through. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We'll do a couple calls with Nick as well. You look at this game Sunday, and do you think there's any path where Rodgers throws touchdown number 500 and they would pull him and they would just play Tyrod the rest of the way? Do you think Rodgers is going to try and go out there and he wants to play the whole thing and win? Any thoughts on that?
I haven't heard anything in regards to that. It wouldn't surprise me overall, particularly if they're losing big down the stretch. I think they're going to allow him to play a full 17 games. That's always been Rodgers' MO. He wants to play the full 17. and he's going to have the opportunity to do that this week. So I do think that there is going to be a large push early in the game for Rodgers to have his 500th touchdown go to Devontae Adams. And even if it means overwhelming targets in his favor, I certainly think that's going to happen. I just don't see them pulling the quarterback, especially with what Rodgers has always said is his end goal, and that's to play the full season.
It would be. But then I wonder if it's like, all right, I got my 500, I'm good. Let Tyrod come in.
Maybe that changes. That's really going to be up to Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not even going to try to hypothesize what that guy's going to want to do.
I think he's going to want to play too. I think he's going to want to win. I just, it's in the best interest of the Jets to maybe lose. You could argue it, sure. But with that said, at least the game means something for Miami, so it'd be nice to knock them out of the playoffs officially. Sure. The best scenario is somehow Denver loses to Carson Wentz and the backup players on the Chiefs. All of a sudden, Miami could get in with a Jet win, and the Jets could stick it to them one last time. That wouldn't be the worst consolation prize if you're going to win the game.
Nope, not at all. And again, I'm on Team Tank. I think, okay, it's great if you knock your rival out of the playoffs, but by and large, you need to lose. You need to lose to improve your draft status, particularly because you can get a top 2 overall pick if things go your way. And as we've talked about, there is a path for that happening. So great, awesome. You kept your rival out of the playoffs, but you're sacrificing your own future hopes as well. I don't see the benefit in that overall.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Midnight in all caps writes in, "Hi, all my friends. I am here now, and I'm willing to give a $10 bounty to put Beastbreaker into the hole for the day. Do you agree with me, chat? Yes or no?" So Beastbreaker is a relatively new caller to the show. He's very passionate about the Jets. The man hasn't even called in yet, and Bobby Midnight wants to put a $10 bounty on him. Bobby, $10 bounty, that's chump change, kid. Come on now. All right? Bounties don't start at $10.
You got to get to 500.
I need more money than just $10 to get rid of a passionate Jet fan for the day. Come on.
Listen, if it's $500, I'm getting lunch too. So you're helping me out here. I'm starving.
Yeah, I mean the Nick Faria bounty is at $500 Venmo. So whatever we get that, Nick gets some lunch, and I continue the show without him. That's simple. Purple Belt Mike writes in with a super chat. I rewatched every snap of JJ in the preseason. I want him. So that's JJ McCarthy. Your thoughts on that, Nick? I mean, Adam Schefter said yesterday he thinks it'd be a first and then some for McCarthy. I'm not buying that for a guy that I don't want to say he's damaged goods, but come on. He sat for a year with a knee injury. You're going to pay more than a first and then some for the guy?
Especially with a player like McCarthy who's young. He looked good in the preseason as well. Again, you are paying essentially quarterback prices in draft capital. That's really what it just comes down to. There are going to be teams that are interested. I look at what Minnesota's going to want to do, though, and say, man, are they really going to give up on a young quarterback that they think can be even better than Darnold down the stretch? I know Darnold's had a great season, but can he continue that success year in and year out? That remains to be seen. You saw with Baker Mayfield, but not everyone's like that. Look what happened with Case Keenum. Case Keenum goes on this historic run with Minnesota in 2017, gets blasted in the playoffs, signs to be the starting quarterback in Denver, and just completely discombobulates as a starting quarterback. You don't know what's going to happen there with Darnold. It would be, to me, a mistake if the Vikings want to move McCarthy. So, again, costs and everything like that, I think overall it's unlikely that any team's going to give up that capital. I think it's completely fair capital. I just don't know if Minnesota's going to want to walk away from that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live right now, hit the like button. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. If you want bonus shows, your name in the intro. Today's the last day. Then I'll send Gator to the list of updated names. If you want your name added to the countdown, appreciate everyone out there who supports the Patreon. Get in our Discord. And we have some spots left for any Asmaniac who wants to join us on March 22nd for the Asmaniac Knicks game group buy with your ticket. It includes either shoot-around access on the court or a photo on the court after the game. It's a Saturday night game against the Wizards. So come join me and a bunch of Asmaniacs. If you're interested, you got to be a Patreon member to get all the info. So join the Patreon first, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. And a huge shout-out to Q's56, David Atkins, and Glenn Krima for being our 3 most recent Patreon subscribers. Nick, are you ready for some phone calls?
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people want in on the conversation. And we say hello up first to the great Hamburger. What's up, Hamburger?
Morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Morning.
I can't wait for this season to be over. Sunday is it, man.
You in the Jets locker room.
Oh, man. You know, it's been funny, man. I think about Aaron Rodgers, and it's like day to day with me on how I feel, whether or not I want to keep him, whether or not I want him to go. I did see a little clip with Belichick, even though I hate the guy. You know, his assessment of Aaron this year was he doesn't see how he has been so bad. He doesn't get it. He doesn't think that Aaron is washed up. He says, yeah, he lost a little mobility, but other than that, he just thinks that it's an organizational thing that he can't even put his finger on why the team has been so bad. So I don't know if other coaches are going to look at Aaron in the same light and be like, whoa, wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers, who didn't look that bad, is willing to take a pay cut. We get him for another year. If the Jets end up having the number 2 spot, number 3 spot, and we end up drafting a quarterback, why would you not want to have him here? And that's what I struggle with. As much as I see, I'm like in the same sense. I'm like, why the hell would you not want him for that one more year if he's willing to stay? So it's hard for me to lean either way right now, and even on my own feelings, because he's Aaron Rodgers. Whatever you want to say, he's Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Amber, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think the best move is to keep him. But the reality of the situation is, I can give my opinion. The Jets aren't going to listen to a reporter. This is the reality. They're making that decision. So while I think the best move is for them to keep Rodgers, it doesn't look like that's going to happen at the end of the day. I think Woody wants him out, and I think he would eventually hire someone who agrees with his assessment that it's just best to try it out with another bridge quarterback, a veteran, even if it's Tyrod Taylor for a year. Draft a young quarterback and let him develop behind him.
For me, I hope what you're saying isn't true, because I don't want Woody Johnson to have any say in anything that goes on. I want him to hire the best coach, period, end of story, that has the best path for this team. Not just somebody that wants to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, because then there we are again. We're not going to get a Vrabel, because I really think Vrabel is probably going to go to New England. As much as I want him here, if New England lets Mayo go, he's gone.
Vegas.
Like, he's there. Like, that's Vegas. Unfortunately, he's there. So we're stuck with, some new guys. We're stuck with a Rex Ryan, possibly a Gruden. I think all those coaches, like a Rex Ryan, a Gruden, even a Vrabel, would want to keep Aaron for a year.
Rex has said he would if he would learn a different offense. He said that now weeks ago. I don't know, maybe if his recent play has had influence one way or another. But like, here's my issue with what and Nick. I'm not saying you're wrong for having this opinion, but like, if Woody's only going to hire someone that agrees to move on with Aaron, then like that's a stupid process here. Hire the best people. If Mike Vrabel is the best coach out there, says I want Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback for a year, you let him decide. That's the bottom line.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm not disagreeing with any of this. You never want to have an owner meddling with roster affairs.
Exactly.
The reality of the situation, though, is owners in the National Football League, they meddle. All of them do. It's not just one or dozen. The only two on record that I know are the Steelers and the Packers. The Packers are obviously publicly owned. The Rooneys are never going to talk about anything roster-wise because they're the Rooneys. Every other owner, though, has an opinion on their roster, and they want their opinion searched. So they're going to hire people that they think are best for their collective thought process on how to build a winner. There's a reason why the Jets have hired all defensive-minded coaches for the last 2 decades. It's because Woody Johnson has a mindset of how to build this team moving forward. Right, wrong, and different. The owners
been wrong for a long time. It's been wrong for a long time.
I just, in fairness to Woody, I'm not defending him for being a meddlesome owner. I'm just saying they all are. Every single owner in this league has a say in roster management, has a say in coaching and general manager hireship and overall assistance as well. We can't just say that it's just Woody there.
Whether it's Woody or his son or whatever, whenever they touch the plane, it crashes. Whenever they touch the jet, it crashes. So for
it wasn't
me,
always like that, though. That's why you got to hire the right people and hope they can fix it.
Trust is important.
Yes, I agree. Hey, I found something the other day. My wife brought me down a few cards, baseball cards, that she found in my closet. Here's an old memory for you guys. Carl Favano. Yeah.
Great Yankee. Had a wonderful run.
Carl Favano.
The great.
Oh, man, that was rough. But listen, guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on. Great segment, Nick. Jake, as always, thank you. I appreciate it. When are you guys doing the monthly As Maniacs?
The
What is that
monthly
going?
Are you talking about the raffle?
Yeah, no. The top 10 for the month.
Oh, I got to talk with Boomtown, Tom, and Rich. Find out when the month of December the rankings will be released. I'd imagine it'll probably be within the next week or so.
Yeah, I go back to work on Monday, so I'd like to catch it during the day live.
I love it.
So,
I will let everyone know when I have the list from the committee.
All right, everybody have a great day, and my prayers go out to everybody in New Orleans and all the things that are going on this 2025 already. What a start of the year. So, but everybody have a great day. Enjoy. Thank you as always.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hamburger checking in. Bang Mateo says, in other words, we will hire a Woody version of a head coach.
Woody's going to want to hire a guy that agrees with his vision, and Woody agrees with his vision. It's not Woody version of a head coach. It's Woody wants someone to run and build this team from the ground up and win. They want to win a certain way. It's the reason why they've developed and hired defensive-minded coaches for the last 2 decades. This isn't new.
Well, that hopefully changes if they're going to hire the first-timer. It's an offensive guy, I pray. Or you hire a Vrabel who has experience, or Flores who has experience, or the Browns fire Kevin Stefanski. That's my guy. Go get him.
Well, yeah, and again, I want to preface this. If Stefanski's going to get fired, which from the people that I've spoken to, he's not.
I mean, they quit on him on Sunday, I will say.
They quit, yeah, but again, they're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to get a new quarterback. I don't see the Browns firing Stefanski. But if they do, the Jets need to bring a gigantic truck, pack his entire family in it, bring him to New York, and have him sign whatever contract he wants for whatever money he wants, because that would be the top coach available.
Well, the thing is, the NFL always has a surprise fire or two basically every year. And last year, Vrabel was that guy. So maybe it's Stefanski this year. Who knows?
You could say Stefanski. Maybe it's Mike McCarthy. You never really know at this stage because things can change. Back in 2020, Philadelphia was going to run it back with Doug Peterson. That was the expectation with ownership. And then they went to Doug Peterson and said, all right, what are your changes for offense? Carson Wentz struggled. Jalen Hurts looked good down the stretch. What are you going to do? And Doug Peterson essentially said, I'm going to run it back with my same people. I'm going to have Press Taylor as my offensive coordinator, and we're going to win just like that. And Jeffrey Lurie said, no, that's not good enough. Sorry, I think it's best if we, go our separate ways. Things can change just in those end-of-year meetings. So even if someone is safe after Black Monday, doesn't mean he's going to be safe Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday that same week.
Let me give a huge shout-out to Asmaniac Lee, who just donated 2 of his tickets for the game on Sunday. So, Lee, thank you for doing so, and I will make sure we distribute those 2 tickets to people that can use them. So thank you very much for that one, Lee. That's awesome. Good job by you. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. Nick, I know you got to run soon. Do you got time for one more call?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll stay on for the rest. We still have a long show ahead, but let's say hello to Kyle Clifton, who's up next. Hey, Kyle.
What's going on, fellas? How are you?
How you doing?
So, what if the Browns win tomorrow? Like, what happens then? Like, because they're in the
They're
3
playing
spot.
on Friday.
Or
Saturday.
I'm all out of sorts because it's a holiday in the middle of the week.
I'm with you.
But like if they win on Sunday, like, and they're currently in the 3 spot and they fall back, they're probably not taking a quarterback at that spot, right? Like right now, they're probably in line to get one of the 2 guys.
Well, the Browns, you're saying?
Yes.
So if they're at 3, they're going to get their quarterback because the Patriots aren't going to be drafting one.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I agree with you. But what happens if they win? I mean, Stefanski, we all think is a good coach, right? We think that down the stretch here, all sorts of wacky things happen with guys being rested, and it's bad weather in January, what have you. Things happen, things fall apart. It's the NFL any given Sunday. I think someone is going to come available that we don't expect is going to come available. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be, Stefanski. I don't think it's going to be, anyone that, heaven forfend that
Mike
it would be.
McDaniel, if they lose to the Jets.
Well,
run it back. Do it again. Adam Gase 2.0, baby.
Well,
he's better than Gase, no?
I agree, but it would be the exact same thing. Veteran coach, older Miami, struggled there at the end. Let's hire him right now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We don't know exactly who's going to come available. And as much as we might like Stefanski, I don't think that there are so many teams that things are so fluid right now, especially with this draft and the draft order. I didn't know that much about Aaron Rodgers. I knew he was a great player before he came here, but, I never paid much attention to him. He was in a different conference. I'd see him once a month. I was excited to get him because I knew he was a great player. I'd seen him play well on television. Having him here, I thought, generally speaking, good guy, put the team first, still had a little bit left of the tank. But that said, at the end of the day, what we've seen in the last few weeks, some business decisions, some finger pointing, he might not be the right guy to go forward with. And just saying that, he's going to take some time physically, mentally, we don't have time for that. He can't be opaque about his intentions. He's got to be very forthright. If he wants to be here with the Jets, he should already be going to, ownership and saying, listen, I want to be here. Whoever you hire, let them know that I'm willing to work with them financially and I would like to be the quarterback here.
He has basically said that publicly, that if he plays, his preference was the Jets. He said, if I understand I'm going to have to redo my deal. He's going to have a conversation with whoever they hire. I don't think they're just going to, cut him on Monday. I think there's not going to be any resolution with Rodgers until a new GM and coach is here.
Right. And then you have to think about what are the other options for Rodgers. I don't think the Giants, with their conservative ownership, that he would be an option there. But the only other option, if they are out of the draft running for one of the two guys, would probably be Las Vegas, right? Tennessee. As a bridge guy.
Tennessee,
you think?
I think Tennessee's an underrated one. Stefanski, if he wants to go all in on this roster, maybe
they're out of patience with Levis already.
Oh, they're benching him for Mason Rudolph.
They're drafting a quarterback. If they're in position, they're taking Cam Ward-Shedeur.
But my thing would be, even if they were to beat Houston, let's say that they're at 4-5, you can sign Rodgers now instead of trading the farm up to 2 or 3 to get Ward-Shedeur.
Right. I know that wasn't Rodgers building a place there in Tennessee.
Tennessee's always that play. They were a finalist for Peyton back in the day. They're always looking for a quarterback.
Very good. It's an interesting conversation. Thanks, guys.
Kyle, thank you.
Appreciate it.
It will be fascinating, Nick. There's always something. We know that.
Always something.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick. We went through an entire show. No one sent the $500 Venmo, so all talk, no action from that guy. You made it through.
Made it through. And now I got to go buy myself lunch. Thanks, guys.
Nick, happy New Year, my friend. Appreciate you hopping on all season, and I know we'll continue to chat, but really appreciate it. The audience enjoys the conversation, and we're grateful that you join us every week, so thanks so much.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Nick Faria, weekly spot on the show. Comments, questions, super chats. We got a lot to really get into here, and I'll explain in a moment, but let me get to the super chat here from the great Peter Castro. New England could have hired Vrabel last year and didn't. Why not? Yeah, because they were dead set on Gerard Mayo, and we found out that Gerard Mayo, for over a year, knew that he was the replacement for Belichick when that time came. Now, could Gerard Mayo be fired? I guess it's still possible, but I heard Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport say within the last few days that the expectation is he's not going to be fired, that Kraft doesn't want to fire a coach after 1 year and look like a dysfunctional mess. If I was them and Vrabel tells me I'd take your job over any job, I would do it. But I don't think they're going to do it. I could be wrong. They embarrassed themselves like they did last week against the Chargers, against the Bills backups on Sunday. Maybe it's different. But I guess we're going to see. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're just tuning in. There's some drama going on that you guys aren't aware of. Right now in the private chat, Bobby Midnight is in a war against a fellow Asmaniac, Beastbreaker 666. So we might have a rumble on our hands. I'm going to try and evaluate the situation in real time. And we're going to go in order of how they called in. First up is...
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Will you take a $20 bounty?
$20 bounty for what?
Put him in the hole.
Nah, $20. That's not
Okay, well, okay, no, I want a rumble now. Give me a rumble.
What's wrong? What did Beastbreaker do?
I
that
don't
started
like
this?
him. I don't like him.
What happened?
I don't like him. His takes are horrible. Get his fat ass on here.
Whoa. Can we take a breath here? It's the new year. We don't need to resort to violence immediately.
No, I don't like him.
What did he specifically do, though? I'm not following why there's beef. Did he call into your show?
I don't like him. His takes. I just want him in the hole.
Now, I'm following. It was tough to do the show and follow this back and forth, but yeah, it looks at one point in all caps you wrote to him, I don't fear you, big a-hole boy. And then you also said, you a big 400-pound shit stain.
Yeah, well, he called me fat too. So look what's calling the kettle black, you know. Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, hold on. Let me talk with Beastbreaker here and get his side of the story.
I'm ready for Jelly Bean.
Stand by. Mr. Beastbreaker 666, what's up with you and Bobby? What's happening here?
This guy's a total jamoke. I've seen better idiots with brain goo on a fucking Play-Doh set. This guy's no clue who he's talking to. I got news for him. He don't want to go here with me. I will put him under like the rest of the shit that I put out last year. See, he's like the trash that comes and goes. He's like garbage. Once it goes, bye-bye. All he knows how to do is spit smoke. But I got better things to do. Look, as a global star, I've done my job. I'm a 22-year musician. I'm a former wrestling announcer. I've also done baseball and football. I've coached my way through the top. Unlike what this little bastard couldn't do, he couldn't lace my boots, touch my jock, or even carry my bags. See, there's things about this bastard that he doesn't know shit about. He needs to do one of two things. A, shut your mouth, and B, get on your knees and pay homage to a king.
All right, that's enough. Good God. Man, did that escalate quickly? Jeez. That was one for the ages. Who won the Rumble? That's the question. Who won the Rumble? I'd argue maybe nobody won. But man, was that something. Man, was that something. Beastbreaker, Bobby Midnight. One we'll never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a guy who just called in that wants to weigh in on the events that just transpired. And when this guy calls in, we listen, because when it comes to knowing what he's talking about, there's nobody better.
The biggest mistake they made is not firing this whole crew of shitheads before the season started. The coaches can't make decisions. They don't correct anything. I mean, this is a joke.
Still backstage.
Who is?
Beastbreaker.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, put him back on.
Is this a Rumble or is this a calm conversation?
What's his problem? Why is he picking on Bobby for?
All right, let's talk to Beastbreaker 666. Beastbreaker, you're on with Peter Castro. Beastbreaker, you're on mute. Beastbreaker, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
I've been around a long time. I've seen everything I've needed to see. From ECW.
Why are you screaming and yelling at Bobby?
The Rocky Balboa statue. I've learned a lot. See, I've learned my history very, very well. I've been around some big names. Let's see. Wrestlers, been around them. Movie stars, been around them. I've seen the best come, and they've all gone. And you know what?
Now you're looking at Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay. Yeah, I took the loss, everybody. Go ahead. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Bobby.
This guy, I think his mother dropped him on his head when he was a kid. I tell you that much. Because he comes with the stupidest things. He runs his pie hole. And I wanted to put him in the hole for 20, but Jake said no. So I want to rumble with him.
The way he talks, he shouldn't even be on the air.
I know. I think he's in the mental institution. That's what I think he is. That's all. He's a big goofy. He called me fat. I'm down to 260 now. He's up to 480 pounds. So I lost 21 pounds so far.
Good for you, Bobby. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. How you doing, Peter?
Good.
I feel good. My whole body feels good now. I feel good. Mm-hmm. I'm a lot better than the, what was it, 281? Yeah. But that was 366 at one time, too. So, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, you are a retard that guy.
This has been some show, man. I mean, I never would have thought Beastbreaker versus Bobby would happen, and then we'd have Peter Castro coming in. Unreal. If you're watching this live right now, please hit the like button. Foul language warning. We needed to put it out there. Yikes. Kyle Clifton says, bring on Gary or Allen. Imagine Gary trying to argue with Beastbreaker. Purple Belt Mike says, this guy is flexing titles that are fake. Tyrone says, it sucks that this game should be for the division. Or are we resting players to the playoffs? I hope this team makes the best of decisions, not personal ones. Yeah, I don't know if Beastbreaker 666 versus Bobby would be happening right now if the Jets didn't suck. Chris says, is this Teal? Chris, your Teal super chat was received, but the Rumble got out of hand, so we had to intervene. NYC says, Jake, you shouldn't put yourself to this level. You're a professional. Can we get back to Jets content? All right, NYC. If you want Jets content, you tell me the channel that gives you more of it than this one. I mean, and by the way, I am professional. This is what I do. So, this is what we do around here. You want Jets talk? You got Nick Faria for 48 minutes. You want more Jets talk? We have an enormous amount of Jets talk on this channel. Yeah, you might have heard, but I'm the guy who spoke to Rex Ryan this week that got that story rolling. I mean, this team is 4-12. We can't just do Jets right now. Eventually, I hope we can. But I'm a professional. I do this for a living. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Let's get to more of your calls, though. I got a guy on the line that will get us back to Jets talk. I know that's what that last listener wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello right now to a guy that I believe can give us an up-close and personal perspective on where things stand with the Jets.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, David, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. You got the pressure on me. This is a tough act to follow, but I'd just like to say Bobby and Beastbreaker, two very proud men just simply talking things out.
that's one way to put it.
Yeah. Beastbreaker, he scares me a little bit. When he's on, I kind of put my head down and just kind of, let him say what he has to say, because he scares me in a good way, though, But I think I do have something valuable to say about the Jets. Last night I come home, I was gonna watch the Notre Dame game, praying for those people. But I didn't see your show live yesterday, so I had your show on, and then I was watching the Knicks game, and I'm looking at the Knicks, where they're at this point, and Tibbs, he's been there, done that, and he's got to be a disciplinarian, gym rat, and the detail and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, boy, that's what the Jets need. They need a disciplinarian type coach that's been there and done that, and hopefully, like the owner was made the right decisions on the front office people and all that kind of stuff. So maybe Woody and Woody definitely has a chance to do that this time, and hopefully it'll all take shape.
Look, the reality is the Knicks' success started when Dolan got the right people and he let them do their job. And
yes,
your point on Thibodeau is spot on. Mike Vrabel's the Tom Thibodeau of options, right? Thibodeau had never won a championship, but he overachieved with all the teams he coached. Disciplinarian, guys play hard for him. It's very similar to Vrabel. He's never won a championship, but he always got the most out of his talent. Went to an AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill. Won a division title a couple other times. Like, they need that type of coach. They need that type of leader, especially in football. The coach in football is more important than the coach in any other sport.
Yeah, you know what? It's exactly what I was thinking, in comparison with Brable and all that kind of stuff,
David, the eye
so-
looks very pink today. Everything all right?
Yeah, I'm good. It feels comfortable. I had it all day yesterday. I was over at my brother's, and it doesn't hurt. It's comfortable, and everything is good, Jake. Just a minor thing in life. We have to deal with it.
Well, I'm glad you're doing all right. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, and can I just make an opinion on this week's game?
Absolutely.
Whatever. I'm having a tendency to believe that it could be Rodgers last year as a Jet, but I'm glad he came to the Jets, and I know it would be better if they lost the game, and I really don't think they're going to win, but I would like to see him get that 500th touchdown pass, and we could be proud to say, hey, he did it as a New York Jet. That's my feeling.
I'll tell you what, David. Your breakdown, spot on.
Thank you, sir.
David, you have a wonderful Thursday, and we appreciate you for getting us back on track here, all right?
Yeah, I didn't know whether I could step up to the plate. That was very fascinating, but I do the best with what I got, Jake.
I got my eye on you, Jay. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
Good take from David T. How's that for Jets talk, huh? J-Quest, try now. I took off a setting that you're having issues with. I was asking guests to authenticate either with their YouTube or Facebook through StreamYard, but I took it off for you, J-Quest, because I know who you are. Purple Belt Mike writes in, I want a shot at Beastbreaker on the 4 p.m. show. Well, Mike, if you call in right now, Beastbreaker is standing by. Andrew Fialco is speculating that Beastbreaker is actually a paid actor. He writes in, just catching up on this Beastbreaker character. No way he's not a paid actor. Andrew says, Bobby, you killed that jabroni. That was something, folks. We'll be talking about this for years to come. Where were you when Bobby Midnight and Beastbreaker went head-to-head? Mano to mano. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenny and the Jets with a 50 spot. 10 raffle tickets. Happy New Year, Jay. Keep up the great work. Chipotle on me. You're the man. Glenny, thank you, sir. Cha-ching. Money sounder. Thank you for that. And Glenny, because you gave us a $50 super chat, a reminder to all.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Incredible. Thank you, Glenny. Appreciate that. More of your calls right now. J-Quest is next. Hello, J-Quest.
What's up, Jake? Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year, J-Quest.
What's going on? So, are you for the win Sunday, or you want to lose? What's your take on that?
Well, it's interesting because we'll know where the Jets essentially could end up before the game kicks off because they're one of the few games that matters. So they're starting at 425. Like, we'll have a pretty good idea what the ramifications would be of each. If you tell me that the New York Jets could get as high as 2, I want them to lose. I'm going to be honest. If you tell me it's only, if you tell me it's like a minute, they could go from like 7 to 6 or like 7 to 5 and Miami's still in it, like I probably will be rooting for the win, but won't be that upset if they lose. It all kind of depends on what the ramifications would be of the game when we get there.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that because, like, if it's like 2 spots, fuck it. Beat the Dolphins, right?
Yes,
but
stick it to them. Yep.
Like 3 to 10, like, whatever. Dolphins make it. Okay, no big deal. And it may not even matter, right? Because the Chiefs might lose to the Broncos. The Broncos might win anyway.
Yeah,
And
I think they're going to. Like, honestly, like I guess I'd prefer the Jets to win, but like I'm not gonna lose sleep if they lose. But I think the Broncos are gonna beat the backups for the Chiefs. I do. Denver's home. Kansas City's not playing anyone, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see the Bengals make it only because it might make the Bills first round game really hard. And the Bills and Chiefs, those are the two teams. Are like, please don't win the Super Bowl. Like those two teams are in the Super Bowl. It's gonna kill me personally. Like every year we got to watch these Super Bowls. The years ago, Giants, Patriots, all the Patriots, all the years the Chiefs. I mean, like let's get a new blood in there. Like I'm kind of rooting for the Lions or I don't know, somebody new. Like the Ravens, I would root for the Ravens if they win the Super Bowl. But like the same teams winning over and over again. It's getting old, man. Like it just is. But let's beat the Dolphins. And like I said, if it's 3, we get top 3 pick, lose. I normally don't like that because even that year when we were going for Lawrence, I might have been the only one that didn't want to go winless. Like I knew we had to go winless to get that first. People don't realize that. Like we had to go 0-16 to get Lawrence. Like I didn't want.
I wanted it. I actually wanted it because I wanted Gase to have to wear the 0-16 as like being like Hugh Jackson's always known as the guy who went 0-16, and Rob Marinelli, the guy in Detroit, 0-16 with the line. Like I don't know. I despised Gase so much that I actually was like, yeah, he should have to wear 0-16 on the resume.
Yeah, but then you'd be wearing it too. That's the problem.
Yeah, but we would get Trevor Lawrence out of it, so I was like, it's worth it. Like the Jets have been bad, but they're never just like bad enough. And it's like, let's just be the worst team in a year. There's a great quarterback coming out, but obviously, it wouldn't have worked out no matter what happened there. So you never know.
We got 4 wins, and like it's not even like a top 5 pick. It's like it's a crazy. You look at the standings, it's like 7 wins, 8 wins, and then like there's like 2 teams with 5 or 6 wins. It's really strange. Like the way the standings, it's nuts.
Well, think about it, right? I said this actually on the radio today. We were talking about this. The year the Jets drafted Sauce, they picked 4. They won 4 games in 2021. They were picking 4. Right now, they're picking 7. Like, think about that. Usually, you win 4 or less games, you're in the top 5. The fact that the Jets right now would be 7 is kind of crazy. But that's why there's that's why there's 3 teams in the NFC North that have 11 or more wins. That's why there's probably 3 teams making the playoffs from the AFC West. It is so top heavy in the NFL this year. There's a lot of bad teams. I mean, look how many 3-win teams there are. Look how many 4-win teams there are. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I got to get to work. I'm starting at 1:00 today, Jake. Again, Happy New Year, guys, and take it easy.
What were your thoughts on the Rumble there as a longtime viewer of the show? Bobby Midnight well. You've thrusted him at a Jet game. Your thoughts on that?
That was wild. Bobby kind of took the beating because Beastbreaker's volume was so much louder than Bobby's. So it
kept cutting out, too. Bobby got a couple of zings in there when his mic would cut out.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear Bobby, but he's wild, man. He's like quoting all these like 80s wrestlers, 90s wrestlers. Like, I don't know what's going on with that dude, but he is a Jets fan, but still, you can't attack Bobby like that, dude. Like it was strange. Very interesting. A lot of F-bombs, Jake. I don't know, man.
Hey, Jake West. No, that guy is in the mental institution. That's where he lives. And then his mother dropped him on his as a kid.
But what started the fight backstage? Like, what?
Because I don't like his takes from the other day. He was a moron when he was on Jake's show. I was happy somebody bounced his ass, and Jake went into my 20s. So I wanted to riot with him.
I wonder if he's like your height or is he taller than you? What do you think? You think he's
5'3"? He's 6'1". He says he's 282. Bullshit. He's like 480 pounds. He can't even get out of his bed. Look at him. He lays on this. The other day, he was snoring on Jake's show. Right, Jake?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe he'll make. Listen, I saw you did try the Where You're From. It didn't work, though.
It didn't work.
That's the first time I've ever seen it not work.
Well, usually, I don't give a crap, really. He runs his mouth like anything. He's such a goof. I don't like him.
I hear. Hey, listen, Bobby, you better hope Notre Dame wins. You tell Jake about the bet?
Oh, yeah, Jake, I forgot to tell you my bet.
Uh-oh.
Hop off, Bobby. Jake, later.
Okay, bye. Today might be my last day. I call until next Wednesday. Thursday morning.
I don't believe you. You'll definitely break.
No, I'm not. No, the bet is me and Nick. If I lose, Nick, I can't call in any other shows. I just do my show. And if Nick loses, he can't call it to a whole week. So
why would you make a bet that would directly impact my show?
Because that's what he wants.
I don't like this. I also don't think you're capable of not calling into the show for a full week.
I'm not calling him. I made the bet.
I don't believe you.
it's only from it's like get weighed in on next Tuesday. So
it's a long time.
That's 5 days.
It's a long time without Bobby on the Jake Asman show.
You need a break from me. You need a break.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't think so.
Why could he give me 20 and I would abandon him?
$20 for a bounty.
Okay. What about the video? I went 50. Oh, too much. Then I went that.
Bobby, don't even try and compare the video of you falling on your ass to a bounty. A bounty's a bounty.
I'm talking about the butter one. I'm talking about the bounty.
Yeah, the butter one is not even comparable to a bounty. A bounty's a big deal. We don't just throw that around lightly. $20. How about 20 memberships?
I'm not that rich.
That's what I'm saying. That's why a bounty's special. That's why it takes the community to come together if we do a monetary one.
Yeah, okay, well. All right. So yeah, just in case if I lose, I won't see it till next Wednesday.
I don't believe you.
I'm not going to call in.
I don't know.
I could be in the chat, but I can't call in.
Yeah, but you don't like to type.
Well, I'll type anyway.
Really?
My fingers will bleed, but I type it anyway. I know.
Well, are your hands getting smaller with all the weight you're losing? Your fingers are getting smaller?
Look, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then you had to see, yesterday you weren't able to see me, but I look pretty good compared to the, have Nick show you the big one. You know, I was like big face back then. I lost a lot. So
Alan says, I like Bobby, but I want him to lose.
Oh, I know, because he likes Georgia. That's why.
He doesn't actually like you, though. He's a fraud. Look what he said about you.
I wouldn't have settled for 20. That fucking moron. That fucking moron. That fucking moron.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday on my show.
Sad.
So it's over. It's over. That's fine. He could make fun of me on this show. Then when he gets to my show, we're fine. It was like the cartoon character, remember?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, that's why Gator made me a cartoon character and Alan, yeah. So on this show, we're rival enemies, okay?
All right.
It's like a show. It's like Jake's show, you know? You have to give the entertainment to people, right?
You and
like
Beastbreaker, you guys got into it, though. I mean, that felt personal. That didn't feel like entertainment.
Well, I don't give a crap about that guy. He's in the mental institution. Now he's probably sewing. That's what he had the appointment. And he's actually writing a book. Get off, Mike. He can't even write a sentence. He's going to write a whole book.
If he writes the book, should I buy you a copy?
No, I don't want that. I'll burn it if you buy me it.
Really?
Yeah, I'll burn it.
What if I have him autograph it and he writes to Bobby Midnight, all the love?
Oh, I'll burn it too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And he keeps on calling me a kid. I'm older than that jackass. So I'm older than him. I'm a Jeff fan longer than he. Oh, he's a Jeff fan for 27 years. Probably 47, you dummy. Okay. Okay. He's probably in the back on his bed eating some 16 Whoppers and 18 Big Macs. That's what he does. That's
so
like.
Do you think he goes to both McDonald's and Burger King, and that's like a typical order, or that's a special occasion?
No, that's every day.
Really?
Yeah. Why, he's still in the back?
No, 16 Whoppers, 16 Big Macs. That's a lot of food.
I know. He's 480, not 272.
Did you weigh him? How do you know?
Well, he don't look 272 to me. He looks 480 pounds.
Also, Bobby, how about Peter Castro coming into your defense? That was awesome.
I love my Peter Castro. Isn't he a nice guy? I love the video he does. We need some slow dick and we need some what's the one that he go Flonase and monkey
we got to get rid of Yul Brick and then go after Gabriel first. Then I want a Queensberry. Got to look at the monkey guy. I like Flonase and maybe slow dick in Houston is the answer.
Yeah. Hey, since I lost weight, do you see me having me more energy, right? You see me?
Yeah. So far, so good.
I know the walking pad's helping me out. Thank God. Big fella. But it's been warm lately. I've got to go outside and take a walk.
Yeah, today's a nice day. Go for a nice little walk
I
around.
know this whole 3 days been so good compared to what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's beautiful. No more snow, kind of. We got patches there, patches there. But I'm telling you, we're gonna get hit with one big one soon. Yeah, I feel it. Okay, Jake. I know you have other people on the line, so you gotta have a second show at 4. So
That's the plan.
I want to talk to the person. Who is it? Anybody?
You want to talk to Beastbreaker 666?
Not really. Not him.
No. That's who's my co-host for the second show.
Oh yeah. Him as a co-host, you won't understand him. He's got so much garbage in his mouth when he eats. Don't call me kid, you fat ass monkey boy. How's that?
Bobby, thank you for the time.
Okay, I love you.
What a call from Bobby Midnight, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now to the great Ricky NY. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, Jake? You know what? I wanted in on that Rumble so bad. What a fraud that Beastbreaker is. He's building his worldwide empire. Really? He probably goes around telling people that he's got 40,000 people that watch him every day because he's counting your viewers. This guy's just delusional.
I don't have 40,000 people that watch me every day either. Unfortunately, that's what a 4 and 12 season does to you. We do have 40,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So thank you for that.
Right on. And you know what? It just cracked me up. He's been around musicians and wrestlers. You know what? I bet he's probably a janitor at MSG. If I had to guess. You know what? I have been in the music industry for 40-something years. I have been around wrestlers. Name some names. Where's your credentials, fat boy? This guy's just a fraud, and him trying to pick on Bobby just shows what a loser he is. I'm not going to waste any more time on that, but that guy's a joke, Jake.
He just called back in. Do you want to talk to him?
You know what? Sure, put him on. Put his fat ass on.
All right. Well, this is going to be a short leash here. This has been a crazy. Well, it's tough to hear some of his points there with the mic, but all right, Ricky, what'd you think?
Not impressed. Not impressed at all. Not impressed. Bottom tier caller. Bottom tier caller. Guys in the chat, come on. We got to get some tomatoes ready for this guy because he just sucks. He just absolutely sucks. Worst caller in a long time. But
Ricky, good take. Good back and forth there. Appreciate you calling it as always.
All right, man. Have a great day, Jake. See you this afternoon.
Can't wait. The great Ricky NY checking in. Let's say hello right now to one of our favorites. He doesn't call often, but when he does, he usually brings it. Triple M is up next. What's up, MMM?
Hey, I was cracking up, man. Like, I just got off of work, and the kids ain't. I got to stop talking so loud. The kids are still asleep. So I got some time before I got to be daddy. But the fat dude is funny, but I don't understand why he was going in on Bobby and whatever the reason
Bobby
why.
didn't like his call yesterday where I had him on. Now, Beastbreaker didn't go at anyone yesterday. He just had a call where he was just yelling about the Jets and stuff. And Bobby didn't like that. And he saw Beastbreaker was on hold in the private chat messaging. So Bobby then said $10 to put him in the hold for the day. And I said on the air, that's not enough. I said, come on. And then that kind of escalated into them arguing in the private chat. They both wanted to go. And like men, we tried to settle it, but it got a little out of hand.
I think he's coming at me now. He's private messaging me.
He wrote lightweights.
Oh, okay. Bobby choked the chicken. Listen, I don't care, but I love the way Peter Castro came in and like totally cleaned his clock. Like Peter Castro don't play. So I Beastbreaker, if this is the way you're gonna come into the whole, Asmaniac universe, I guess, man, whatever. But No, I don't know. Peter Castro put his dick on your head, man. We only see your face. Why you talk so much shit, but like no one can see anything? Are you using your phone? The type of shit you talk 30 years with wrestlers and what was it, rock stars and stuff. Why you don't have like a straight up camera? Why can't we like see you so we could like really go in on you? Because you sound real stupid. You sound dumb going at Bobby. That's not Bobby's thing. Come on, man. Jake, let me ask you. I listened to you a couple of times on 880, and I get the feeling when the Giants fans call in, or when the whole theme of the Giants situation is that they don't care if they lose. They're rooting for the losses, right? They want that pick, right?
Yeah, Giant fans definitely want them to lose Sunday for sure.
So, like, why is it okay? Because this has been a 14-year wasteland for me. And my theory is once we're eliminated from the playoffs, I'm not rooting for wins. I don't want to see wins. Wins are stupid. I don't know. This is the NFL. This isn't college. This isn't high school or Pop Warner. Their parents aren't in the stands to get like a motivational win or something like that. Or they're about to graduate. This is the NFL. The rules are the worst team gets the best pick. Why am I rooting for wins?
Yeah, look, I see both sides of it, right? I think in certain scenarios, like it's definitely better like to root for losses. But I think like something like last year, like I rooted for the Jets to beat New England, right? Because I wanted to stick it to Belichick. And like I knew that regime was coming back. And I thought the wins were valuable. In the case of like 2020 with the Jets, I was rooting for losses. Like we knew Gase and the entire coaching staff was gone. They were rebuilding, and it behooved them to have the best pick possible to get their choice of any quarterback. So I think year to year, it's always different with the different set of circumstances. I'm never going to tell a fan how to root. If you root for wins Sunday, great, go for it. The way I look at it is like, I'll root for them to win, but if they lose, it's not going to affect me. Like how we root will have no impact on things anyway. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. I always want to see the best game possible. I don't want them to embarrass themselves. I want them to go out there and make plays. But when it's 4 quarters is done, I want an L because I need a better pick. I'm tired of us having the number 6 pick in a 5 blue chip player draft. That seems to always be what it is. It's like 3 players and we have the number 4. Something crazy like that. I'm ready to go back to when we got Keyshawn, and I still think back on that and why they took a big, slow wide receiver. I don't know what other quarterbacks was in that draft. That was a long time ago, but
was it? I don't know. Was there a quarterback of the year they took Keyshawn 1? I mean, that was what the year. I mean, they could have had Peyton, but he went back to school.
He went back to school.
Yeah.
No, that the year he went back to school, we took the linebacker that didn't stay.
Oh,
I don't know if it was Hugh Douglas.
No, Farrier. Was it James Farrier?
James Farrier. I think that might have been who it was because we traded down. I don't know. That's a convoluted story for another day, but I'm just hoping for Cam Ward.
Yeah, I like Cam personally better than Shador too. I don't.
Yeah,
I like Shador. I just
circus with him.
And I really think Deion's done a great job. I don't know. I didn't like he has the Giants cleats in his locker when dude, one, you might not be the number 1 pick, and 2, the Giants might have had, I just thought that was amateur hour. I didn't like that. I don't know. Cam Ward, to me, I like his story. I like the fact that he had no real offers. He had to basically level up each way in college football to eventually get to Miami and become a Heisman Trophy candidate. I like Cam Ward more than Shador, but I'm also going to be honest. I haven't watched film like the experts have yet, but that's just my feel early on.
I haven't watched film like the experts have myself either, but I watched the highlight films on YouTube, and he looks pretty good. He stands in that pocket like he don't care, and whenever it gets too hot, he takes off. Or that Jackson Dart dude. I mean, but we can get him way down later in the draft. This is plenty of time for all of that. I just called in because Peter Castro is the man, and I love the show, and I'm off. So I'll talk to you later, Jake.
Triple M, you're the man. Great call. Appreciate you as always. Ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions, super chats, they'll continue to cut the line. Rick Kent checks in with a super chat. Rick Kent, I have now uploaded the new Gator membership video for you, so we will have that going forward instead of the Rick Kent Superman fart one. Gator man. Run back to your boyfriend, funnel butt, is the line of the day. Team Ricky. That was a great line. There were a ton of tremendous lines. Ladies and gentlemen, we say hello right now to a guy who, I'd argue he doesn't need an introduction. I would argue he's someone that the chat knows well. Occasionally we agree with him. Occasionally we disagree with him. But at the end of the day, one thing is clear. His presence on this show is always felt. SEAL Team 75, assemble.
The Clapping Seals, they're alive and well in the chat.
What's up, Jake? How are you, my man?
I'm good, Gary. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. I just want to, first of all, the content with Bobby and Beastbreaker, and then Ricky and Peter Castro and Beastbreaker. This is like unreal content. You can't script this. This is better than Hollywood. Like, this is the best content on the internet. And I'm not saying that to fluff you up. Like, where else can you find this?
Unfortunately, this is what a 4-12 season does to a fan base.
Yeah, if we were 12-4,
we'd be talking about getting ready for the. Yeah, we'd be talking about it. We'd win a Super Bowl. Like, let's go.
So I want to flip that around. I can't take the tanking thing. I hate tanking. I don't ever want to have that conversation here. Like, who do you want to tank for? Like, do you really think at the end of the day, whether we get Abdul Carter or Michael Williams from Georgia, is that going to make or break our team next year? Like, I hate the conversation of tanking. First of all, I think it's stupid and hardly ever. I remember twice the Jets wanting to tank, right? Once was to get Trevor Lawrence, and once was to get Marcus Mariota. Good thing we didn't get either of those guys, because that would have set us back even further. Like,
look, you never know, but there are examples where not having a high enough pick does cost you. Like, you don't think the Giants would be better off right now if they lost those games that Tommy DeVito won a year ago and they had Jaden Daniels as their quarterback, right? Like, so there's examples of like the year with Lawrence where it didn't matter who the Jets were going to pick. They all stink.
The Giants would have took JJ or something stupid. Like, stupid teams do stupid
They could have had
things.
JJ. They passed on him. They could have had also Penix, and that's the thing no one brings up. It's like, oh, they never got to pick their quarterback. Well,
Yeah,
they had McCarthy, they had Penix, they had Nix. They passed on all three. We'll find out what McCarthy ends up being and what Nix and Penix end up being. But so far, so good for those two.
And this draft class, like, I like Cam Ward to a degree. I'd rather Cam than Shedeur Sanders. But, like, if you guys think Shedeur Sanders is going to save your franchise, like he's going to be Jaden Daniels or something, he's not. Like, if you get Shedeur Sanders, you're going to look back 3 years from now like, wow, I have the 21st best quarterback in the NFL. He's so mid and so not special. He's Mac Jones with better legs, but he doesn't run. Like, he's not good. Like, he's not going to suck. He's not going to be Kenny Pickett or Zach Wilson. But, like, you're going to get him, and you'll be like, this is what I spent the first overall, the second overall pick on. You're going to be disappointed. So I don't really even want him. It wouldn't be terrible. It's not going to be Zach Wilson 2.0, but you're not getting a franchise-changing quarterback with a top 2 pick or wherever he goes. He'll go no later than 3.
Do we know that though? Like, I don't know. Like, it's such a crapshoot. Even with guys, plenty of guys who are supposed to be quote unquote better than what Cam Ward's perceived to be have busted, and there's been guys with no reputation whatsoever that end up being great. Like, it's still a crapshoot at the end of the day, and you have a better chance of hitting on your quarterback if you're picking higher. Like, look at the top quarterbacks in the league right now. Yeah, there's exceptions, but the vast majority of the tippity top, like the Josh Allen, Mahomes tier, Burrow, they're all first round guys.
They were all taken in the first round, but yeah, the interesting thing is, well, Burrow, besides Burrow, Allen, Mahomes.
Top, what? Allen was 5th or 6th overall? Like,
no, he can't late. He's middle of the first, not middle, like 10 or 12 or something like that.
No, he was early. Allen was earlier than that.
Yeah, he went after Rosen and Darnold.
No, he went after Darnold before Rosen.
He went before Rosen? Okay.
Yeah, Josh Allen was picked. It was 7th overall.
Look, I do this all the time with Net fans because for the Nets it's different. I don't see a path out of this for the Nets. I don't want the Nets to tank, but I don't see a better option. Like, it's not a good move, but it's still probably the best move. The Nets have $90 million locked up in Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson, and Nick Claxton. There's no fixing this without drafting the next great player. Like, there's no fixing this. So the Nets might as well tank. The Jets aren't in anywhere similar to a position. The Jets are actually, besides quarterback, not in bad shape. Like, they have a line in place, a young line, a bunch of young pieces. They have we've been over this. Like, the Jets are not in a position where tanking in football, it's not like getting one player in basketball, which can change things. Like I said, if who do you want to take it for that you think is going to change your franchise?
But it's not even about that sometimes. It's also could be like, hey, you get a blue chip player that's there that you weren't expecting, or you could trade back and you get more because you're picking high. Like, just there's no benefit for a team like the Giants, for example, to win Sunday. Like, that would really hurt them. Like, it would. Like, that's just a reality.
It would, but I'm telling you right now, if they don't get Shedeur Sanders, that's a blessing in disguise. I know that's what everyone wants, and I know
but you say that, but you don't. How do you know that? You don't know that. You didn't think Jaden Daniels was going to be good. Do you regret that take? He looks pretty good.
No, I didn't think he'd be this good. I give you that. I didn't say a bad word about Jaden Daniels other than he's undersized and he's going to get hurt. I said he's Kevin Durant and runs like Derrick Henry. I still believe he's going to have an injury-plagued career because I've never seen an NFL quarterback built like that. What is he, like 6'3", 180 pounds? I don't think he's going to have a long career, but I never said he sucked ever. I said he was the most improved player in college football last year.
Well, but my point is, like, you don't know. It's a crapshoot, and you have a better chance of turning your franchise around if you could pick your choice of quarterback.
You do. If you could pick out one, you can have a better choice, a better chance of drafting the guy that hit than you do at 17 or 6 or whatever. Yes, I agree. But first of all, I don't think there's just like last year's NBA draft. There's not a franchise changing guy in that draft. I don't see that. Like, yes, you want the best player possible, but last year we wanted the tank to get Olu. We actually traded down to get Olu, right? Like, you don't know where these guys are going to go. Yes, it's better to pick 2 than 3, and it's better to pick 3 than 4. I understand, but like, I'm not rooting for my team to lose to the Dolphins ever.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I'm rooting for them to win. How you root has no impact on anything. We could root one way or the other. It has no impact on anything that will happen on the field on Sunday.
I agree. It's not going to impact the game, but I just think, especially in football. But I've made the argument for basketball too. It doesn't work. Tanking is stupid and it doesn't work. Like, no team.
But sometimes it does work.
There are teams that tank every year, like in the NBA. In recent history, not one of them has won a championship. There's 5 teams that tank every year.
Well, there's only one team that can win but there's only one team a year that can win a championship, and it's hard.
Right, and that team never tanked. Every year in recent history, that team never tanked.
There are multiple ways to build a team, but objectively speaking, like like you look at a team like the Giants, it behooves them to lose Sunday. It does nothing for them to win.
And then you're going to get Shedeur Sanders, and you say, wow, I've got the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL. Wow.
You think he's the 22nd best quarterback in the NFL? There's a chance that other people might evaluate him and think that he's got a chance to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. The opinions are very all over the place.
Who is saying that? Who really, like, who's
what do you mean, who's saying that?
Who is saying he's going to be a top 10 guy?
Someone just compared him to, who was the guy that, Jordan Reed on ESPN compared Shedeur to someone that's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I wish I remember who his comp was. For my point is, everyone's evaluating these guys differently. Caleb Williams was thought to be by everybody the number 1 overall pick without any doubt.
By everybody? Not by everybody.
Let me finish, Mr. Todd McShay, Gary 3D Boxing. You had a 3rd round grade on the guy, which is asinine, but that was
he's playing like a 3rd round quarterback to me.
Gary, my point is everyone has different opinions on things. You had a 3rd round grade on the consensus top guy in the draft. So I with all due respect, you saying that you don't think Shedeur is going to be great, or you don't think that Cam's going to be great, like, NFL teams might have a different opinion on it than you.
Okay, I mean, they might, and maybe Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix was Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett. I thought he was going to be the trilogy of god awful quarterbacks, and I still think he's not very good, but he's a lot better. He's 5 times better than I expected him to be. And that probably has a lot to do with Sean Payton, but. Okay, like, you're not screwed forever with Bo Nix like I thought you would be. So, okay, I get it. And then the last thing is, I'd rather bring Aaron Rodgers back for a year than trade a 1st round pick for JJ McCarthy. Under no circumstance do we trade a 1st round pick in any year for JJ McCarthy. Like, that's a panic move. Don't do that.
What if J.J. McCarthy ends up being a 10-year franchise quarterback?
Do you think that J.J. McCarthy, who's not allowed to throw the ball at Michigan, we're playing Penn State. They're good. You can't throw the ball because you suck. You think that guy, and that's what Jim Harbaugh said, not some schmo off the street.
I'm pretty sure Jim Harbaugh did say, hey, kid, you can't throw the ball because you suck. I'd imagine that conversation never happened.
He didn't let him throw the ball, though, in the second half.
Yeah, because they ran the ball down their throat and they won by like 30.
Give me another quarterback who's good, who's not allowed to throw the ball.
Gary, all I know is Kevin O'Connell, who everyone is now telling me is the best offensive mind in the sport, thought he was worthy of a top 10 pick. So, like, that guy thought he was worth it, and he's pretty good, that guy.
Do you think they'd be 14-2 if he were playing and not Sam Darnold?
No, I think Sam Darnold. Oh, I think Sam Darnold always had the ability to be an elite quarterback in this league. I always felt that way. I felt like the Jets screwed him. I was still on board with moving on from him because I felt like the damage was done and you had to worry about, paying him down the line with the 5th-year option. But no, I mean, like I always thought Sam had ability. Like when they took Sam 3rd overall, I thought Sam should have went number 1 that year. I thought the Jets got a break with getting him at 3.
I didn't know much about Josh Allen, but that was the quarterback I wanted. And Sam Darnold, it was Baker, Rosen, him, and Allen. I didn't really know anything about Allen. Sam Darnold, I thought was going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, what he is now. I thought the Jets were getting their guy for the next 10 years. It didn't work out that way, but I don't. Whether or not someone knows more than something doesn't mean that one person can be wrong and the other person can be right. Like it's a silly appeal to authority argument. Like if you have an MIT professor who says 2 + 2 is 5, is he right? Or if an MIT professor.
I don't think an MIT professor would say 2 + 2 = 5.
But if he did, would he be right because he's an MIT professor? Or would he be wrong?
He'd be wrong, but I don't think he'd be. I don't think a professor at MIT would feel that way.
But it's not an argument. Saying because I found someone who says a thing I like isn't an argument. I can find a thing I like from anyone and say, look, I'm right because this person said it. What is your argument? Like if you think Shedeur Sanders is going to be the next top 5 quarterback, that he's going to be a franchise-changing quarterback, what does he do on the field that makes you say he's going to be anything but mid? I'll listen. I did this with Caleb, and I'm not saying Caleb sucks. Caleb is actually better than I thought he was, but he still sucks, right? I said he holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't take care of the ball, and his accuracy over the middle of the field and intermediate stuff is god-awful, and he's erratic on long stuff. Bullseye. Like, everything I said was correct there.
Now, let me ask you a very serious question. When is your interview with the Jets for the GM job?
I'm busy. If they want, they have my information. They can get my information through you.
I'm putting together a front office of you and Allen because the two of you combined have never been wrong about anything. So, like, the Jets are going 17-0 next year.
If I'm taking the job, and I'm not saying I am, but if I am, I got to have JJ too.
No, we'll have you two in the front office. JJ could be the head coach.
Done. Deal. Yeah, done. And we won't do worse than Joe Douglas did. That would almost be statistically impossible. Me, Allen, and JJ will have a better winning percentage in our time than Joe Douglas. I would wager dollars to donuts on that.
I'm not. Is that a fat joke? Because Joe Douglas likes donuts.
It wasn't, but you can take it as that if you wish. It wasn't thrown out that way. But
I'm doing some quick math. 30 plus. All right, so Joe Douglas was the general manager for 94 games. You and Allen are running the Jets. You get 94 games. Will the record be better than 30 and 64?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Like, it can't be worse. Like, that's how bad Joe Douglas was.
Well, I mean, you were on the record saying Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
Yeah, I don't think that's a direct quote, but I like it. It sounds like something I'd say, so I'll take it. I'll accept that.
No. Is this not you?
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
That's me. That's me. I will not run away from that quote. I don't think I said it, but it's like one of those things. You want to accredit it to me? I'll take it. I said that.
Well, Gary, you said a lot today. I appreciate your time, and congrats to your son Brock Bowers making the Pro Bowl.
I didn't even say. I wouldn't even pay attention. I'm assuming he did, but Brock Bowers made a Pro Bowl game.
He did.
He did. He's got some more records he can set on.
What do you mean
Sunday,
again?
right?
He's a rookie. This is his first
Pro
Bowl.
I didn't say again.
You said Brock. I thought you just said Brock Bowers made the Pro Bowl again.
If I said that, I misspoke. Obviously, he's a rookie. I called in your show a couple times last year, if you remember, and said the Jets should take him at 10. I don't know.
Did somebody say Brock Bowers? That's
all I got, Jake. Be good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary 3D Boxing.
Gas station pizza is better than a Big Mac.
All right, on hold right now. You guys can't see this because you don't have access to this, but there's a guy on hold. His name is Bobby Midnight, and he's currently flailing his arms like this, which means a couple things. One, he's got a great story to share, or Someone annoyed him and he's going to scream and yell. We'll find out together.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Okay, I want to call it that rock strip because he likes to type and chat about my friends. So I'm going to give it to him right now.
Who are you calling out?
Rock strip. He's in the chat.
I actually have met Rourke Strips in person. He's a nice guy.
He said, I'll tell you, is Gary retarded?
Oh, don't use the R word. Don't use the R word.
Well, he should not put stuff. Is Gary retarded or disability? I want to talk to him. Is he wants to come in and type about my friend? So you want to come on and talk to me, Rock Strip? I would like to talk to you. Okay, please.
He said retired, by the way. He didn't even say the R word.
I know, and on disability. Oh, and Mr. Big Mouth wants to go round 2 with me.
No, we can't go. We can't do round 2. I want to take a breath here.
I don't have I don't have anything to say that for that 500-pound 8 man. I don't have anything else to say. I said what I had to say. He's a breath of hot air. I don't want to talk to him. I just want you to respect my friend Rourke's Drift.
So you called in. Yeah, I met Rourke Strift. I met him at training camp this past year.
Well, why does he talk about my friends for?
I don't even know what he said, Bobby. No one else is
Is
reacting.
Gary retarded on disability?
Are you saying? I think you're confusing words here. He's saying, is Gary retired?
And on disability, he said.
Gary, are you offended by Rourke Strip's comments?
No, when he said retarded, I was offended, but it was retired. I mean, I think that's a fair question.
Well, and
I think that's a legitimate question.
Can you read between his lines? Because I can.
I think you're. I mean, he might be trying to be insulting, but
well,
I don't
Gary,
think
I'm your friend. When anybody talks to you, I'm in the chat. I'm like a little Irish Chihuahua. You know, I'll go after him. I go after everybody for you, Gary, because you help me all the time. I feel great, Gary. I lost another 5 pounds this week. I'm down to 260.
You're doing good. You're doing great. Keep it up, man.
I feel good.
Keep it up.
You had to see Nick try and say, "Wow, look at him go to the bathroom yesterday. He's like chugging some good. He's walking good."
Well, I don't want to watch you go to the bathroom, but I'll believe Nick.
I'm just saying, I couldn't even walk at Jake.
I know. I get it.
Walk at the game, right, Jake?
You were moving pretty good. I was impressed.
You're doing great, Bobby.
At the game, though, I couldn't even walk at the game. You met me, remember?
Well, I mean, you had a long day. We had to get you a golf cart.
No, I mean, you know, when Jake Quest knocked me down, I couldn't even walk. That's right. So no, I give everything for Gary. Gary.
Also, Rourke Strip has clarified that he was not taking a shot at all at Gary. He loves both you, Gary, and
okay, Roy. Okay, please accept my apology.
I didn't take it that way.
I have to stick up for my friends. I'm that kind of way. I
know you are, Bobby. That's why I love you.
Bobby, you should stick up for Peter Castro anytime now going forward. That guy had your back. And Ricky.
Hey, Nicky, you better watch out, big fat monkey butt. You better watch out. Talk about my friends too. They stick up for me. I stick up for them. You are just a hot, fresh monkey ass. That's all. He's a big gorilla. Ugh.
Rick Kent said Bobby had my back yesterday.
Yes, I did.
What happened with Rick Kent?
What's his name?
The great Rick Kent.
Yeah. Rick Kent. Who? What's that word I can't say? Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, Rick Kent. Who was that again? Oh God, get a brief on it. Yeah.
B-Mac versus Rick Kent.
Oh, B-Mac. Yeah. Remember, I had to call in.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Guys, get a chick who stands by you, like Bobby stands by us. That's what you need in life. Your life, not a chick that says you can't win, Rocky. Not that's trash to you. Get a chick who stands by you, like Bobby stands by us.
You're awesome, Jake. You're awesome. Okay. I apologize to the other guy. I'm sorry. I took it the wrong way.
All right.
I just have to stick up for my friends.
Look, everyone, just let's take a chill pill and let's all
Let's
together.
take a chill pill. Oh, Jacob, I'm gonna be watching your show, but I'm watching my game at 4:00. They're at 4:00 tonight.
All right. Well, good luck to your Irish.
I'm happy they're on early and not 8:45.
Oh, 8:45. See,
Okay.
thank you,
No,
Bobby.
they're
I would
at
have missed
4
the whole
o'clock
game.
today. They're at 4:00 today.
I would have missed the entire game. All right.
Okay.
Good to know.
Okay.
All right.
what
How
do you
about
guys
we
think?
break the huddle with a little butter on 3? Ready?
Yeah,
right.
butter on 3. 1, 2,
1,
3.
2, 3. Butter. Needed to be done, folks. Needed to be done. Whoops, wrong button. More of your calls right now. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeking more raffle entries for our giveaway. Jets mini helmet. Also, the brand new Jets winter cap. Items from the merch store. I have a whole collection of Jets trading cards, but there's nothing more valuable than the Zach Wilson autographed jersey card. Look at that. You're not going to find that anywhere else, folks. That's valuable right there. All right. Well, the show is starting to wind down here. Let's say hello to a guy who yesterday was sent to the hole. People seem to like sending him to the hole, but they also wanted to revive him from said hole to allow him to speak his monologue before going back to the hole, but then someone paid for that to also not happen. So there's no bounty today. We check in with Alan.
Warning, warning, Alan alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Alan alert. Hide the children.
I like the tongue twister there. That's pretty funny, Jake. I appreciate it.
It's kind of hard to describe what happened on yesterday's show, but you had to be there.
Absolutely. First of all, Gary, JJ, and I would have done a much better job than Joe Douglas. First of all, I would have drafted Tristan Wirfs over Mekhi Becton. And I also would not have drafted that useless tight end out of Long Island. So those are two big differences for me in comparison to Dunkin' Donuts Douglas. So forget about that. As far as the tank is concerned, just a couple of comments. I remember back in 2018 when we were playing Sam Darnold in his rookie year, and they were playing a December game against Texans, and they were not making the playoffs, but I actually was rooting for him. So the idea of having a rookie quarterback in his rookie year, playing, and even if he loses, just getting experience, that's when you don't root for the tank. The last 3 years when you had useless quarterbacks in Zach Wilson and now with Aaron Rodgers, that's when you have to root for the tank, because there really is no hope if you have no young quarterback. That's why if I'm the Patriots, neither here nor there, I know they're going to try to get the number 1 pick, but you want to see what you're going to get out of Drake May. That's the idea of playing him down the stretch. Having Aaron Rodgers winning a meaningless November or December game when we're 6 games under 500 means nothing. So I totally agree with MMM's point. He's absolutely right. And another point, I was listening to Connor Rodgers the other day. And
Why don't you listen to Connor Rodgers on ESPN New York when I had him on today?
I was sleeping. Sorry. I'm in Houston. I apologize. Connor Rodgers is what?
You're in Houston?
No, I'm in Dallas. But I
You
was
just
sleeping.
said Houston.
No, I was sleeping. I'm sorry. My bad. Out of 3 guys, he's one of the 3 guys I love on the draft. Him, Dane Brugler, and Daniel Jeremiah. But what he mentioned about this draft, he said it's a top-heavy draft, maybe 6 or 7 elite guys. So with the Jets sitting at pick number 7, winning a game and dropping a 9 would be a disadvantage for this team because they'd be out of that top-tier guy. And then they'd basically be try to rummaging out of guys between 9 and 22. So the idea of getting one of the top 3 defensive players and losing this week and hopefully getting a top 6 pick and maybe drafting a Graham or a Johnson or a Abdul Carter makes sense. So that's why I want them to lose to the Dolphins. I know I hate the Dolphins, But this is another meaningless game. It makes no sense for them to beat a team and go to 5-12, and it does nothing for the franchise. You're looking at the franchise as forward thinking, and I want a top defensive player. I don't want to fall at pick 9 and basically struggle at taking a pick there. That's the bottom line.
Look, I'm not going to tell a fan how they should root. If you want to root for a win over the Dolphins, great. I'm just at a point where I'm not going to be that upset. You know, it is what it is. How we root has no impact. So that's how I look at it.
And by the way, Aaron Rodgers should get his 500th touchdown and be benched right after that. There's no reason to play him the rest of the game.
Why? You're going to probably be disappointed when Tyrod balls out and then they win the game because of that.
He might, but I'd rather watch Tyrod Taylor play than Aaron Rodgers, honestly.
Why? What is watching Tyrod Taylor play?
I would have rather watched Tyrod Taylor play about 3-4 weeks ago because I want to see what we have going into next year. I want to see some kind of example of the type of quarterback we're going to have to start the 2025 season. I'd rather watch Tyrod Taylor than Aaron Rodgers and all these truthers thinking that he's the savior going into 2025, even though many of us know he's done. So
here's the question I have for you. What did you make of Beastbreaker versus Bobby Midnight?
It's an interesting battle. I was chuckling at all the 1980s references from wrestlers. I got to admit that. But I give Bobby credit. He's a feisty little bastard. And I'll tell you one thing. Bobby and Chiefs fan, those guys are non-Jet fans. They provide so much humor to this show, unlike that useless bastard out of Massachusetts who provides no insight to this show. And that's why when Aaron goes, he needs to follow.
Bobby claims to be a Jet fan, though.
Okay. If he says so. He's a Giant fan. He is.
Wow.
He's more past. Again, I asked Bobby if the Jets played the Giants, who would he root for? He'd root for the Giants. And he would. So he's a Giant fan. But you know what? I give him credit. He's provided a lot of humor to an absolutely shitty season. So, but again.
It's Chiefs fan. Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches. It's Chiefs fan. I'm just going to rub my hands together all day. It's Chiefs fan. There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch. Let's hear it for Chiefs fan. Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Chiefs fan is my favorite. He is my favorite.
Thank you, Alan.
You are the best.
Alan.
You are the best on this show. You
Thank
provide humor to everybody.
I mean,
your team continues to win. And my wife is a big fan of your shitty team, so God bless you.
I don't know if we're gonna be shitty if we three-peat, but I'm like, God bless you too. But I'm like, yeah. I was always raised humor fixes problems, even if you're like
absolutely.
Even if you're like sitting in the hospital fighting for your life, humor is just gonna make you smile, even if you're like in the darkest of days. Because I was raised on South Park and raised on Comedy Central. Raised on the Comedy Central specials, even though I should have been watching it when I was younger, and that's why I love humor, and I try to make things funny for a little bit. But like a lot of things did happen.
Chiefs fan, you've heard B-Mac before, right? You've heard him on the show, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna rip on anyone. Like it's the new year.
You know he's useless. You realize that. Come on, you can't get PC with me, Cheese fan. You know that.
I mean.
Cheese fan.
It's the new year. My New Year's resolution was not to be a C word. If y'all want to figure that out, y'all can. But like, I'm not going to say it on air because I don't want Jake to get in trouble.
But Chiefs fan, you know he's useless. When Aaron goes, he should go too. Is that correct?
I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and belittle people. Alan, I know you like to do that, but I'm not gonna sit here and belittle people.
I love it. I get my rocks off.
I mean, I used to do that all the time, and then in my 20s, and now I'm trying to get better. Like my New Year's resolution was not to be the C worded into fatigue because I have been a royal one for the past few years with my mouth. That's why I try to stay more PC on air. But yeah, got all my ghost shopping done. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to the butchery, stock up on them steaks.
Are you still moving to North Carolina or you're staying in Illinois?
I got convinced to stay here and for one more year because I'm getting my back surgery. And then depending where my grandparents move, it's either North Carolina or the west side of Chicago. And the reason why I say West Side is because those 4 years in the West Side with the Hispanic side of my family was the best years of my life.
Well, I appreciate everything you've done for this show, Cheese Fan. And as I said, I think you are the best caller on this show, better
Thank
than
you.
anybody else. So don't ever
Thank
change,
you.
okay? And
I
if Jake
won't.
wants you to be nice, don't be nice. Just be Cheese Fan, okay? Don't ever change.
I mean, I'm gonna have to be nice. I don't
don't
want to
have to.
fail my New Year's resolution. Plus, I'm like, I don't want to get sent to the shadow realm. I don't
Come on,
want to.
I
don't.
the
I
upholstery
don't.
there is beautiful.
I don't. I
I've-
don't. I don't. I don't want Jake to turn into Merrick's itch car and send me to the shadow realm like he did Mai and Bakura. So I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh during the holidays. All 5 seasons of the original.
Okay. But Cheese Fan, keep up the good work and continue to stay strong. And I wish your team good luck until they play the Lions. So God bless you, okay?
Hey, if we face the Lions, my friend Daniel might choke me out by the end of the night if we three-peat. Let's just say that. He might do the Homer Simpson to Bart on me if we three-peat. If you know what
Get
I'm talking
better.
about.
Feel better, okay, Cheese Fan, okay?
I'm feeling good. Thank you.
Have a good one.
How about that, Cheats fan? You got an endorsement from one of the more polarizing figures in this program's history.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I just don't want to be the bad guy here. Like, my team already makes people dislike certain Chiefs fans, but I'm like, and just like motivation means media said MMM. I rock. I don't rub my team's success in the fist. I'm like, if we three-peat, I might get a little big-headed, but I'll be down to earth because like growing up, not seeing that many titles when I moved over to the Chiefs, and then them finally doing what they're doing now, and like being in like the big city markets, watching. I wasn't at the New York games, but when you guys beat the Phillies, I was at my uncle's house watching that shit. So I'm like, I understand what I understand what it means for New York to have a title. I understand what it means like for New York to win because I used to watch ESPN Classics and back when you guys won it as the Knicks. I think it was the 70s and the 80s when the Knicks won it. And then it was ESPN Classics, Joe Namath winning it for you guys. And then it was NFL Network. Like there's a bar I used to go to. It's no longer open because of COVID. But they would play the owner's a Giants fan. So we would put on the Giants winning the Super Bowl when people were in there rewatching it. Just when football season, there was no football season, he would just put the Giants winning both. He would have it back to back.
Now let me ask you something, Cheats fan. It says that you just got back from shopping. What did you buy?
I know I shouldn't be having sweets, but like I bought the trail mix with the M&Ms in it. I bought the Omega 3 trail mix. Tomorrow I got to go get all my healthy ones and all that other stuff. I made sure to restock on the milk and the bottled water since I don't trust tap water. Got to go out and buy a Brita filter tomorrow for my Brita filter pitcher. And tomorrow I'm also going to stock back up on one of my favorite things to snack on during the football season. And I said I wasn't going to do it, but like it's too good to pass up with. So it's Ritz crackers, pepperoni, and spicy cheese.
Excellent.
My doctor said you need to cut the pepperoni, too much salt and cholesterol. I'm like, I'll cut it after February.
You're not worried about going a little Charles Gorman after something like that?
I limit myself. I'm like, I don't eat like that whole entire pepperoni roll. I chop up into small slices, and then like.
Excuse me.
It's not cheese or pepperoni that gets me to fart. It's mostly the things I'm not supposed to be eating, like onions, which I still do at times, coffee. And the worst thing that gets my gas going is refried beans, so I haven't had those in years.
I see.
But refried bean gets everyone. Refried beans affect everyone. So.
Oh yeah, Charles Gorman. He had some refried beans on the show the other day.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I love fart humor. I grew up on Terrence and Phillip on South Park. I love that humor, Jake. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, of course.
The Uncle Fucker song when they farted a bunch. Sorry for the language, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I was a 10-year-old. I was a 10-year-old watching the South Park movie. I had to watch it a few years later, but that's what that's where I get most of my foul mouth from, the South Park. That and well, I'm trying to think. That and Celebrity Deathmatch, if you remember that.
I see.
You remember watching that when you were younger? Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Good times. The funny part is my parents had me no problem with watching Celebrity Deathmatch since I grew up on watching horror films since I was knee high, but they got mad at me for watching South Park.
Really?
Yeah. They did not because like as a 5-year-old, I sat through most of the horror movies and didn't care. And then when I hit 7 and 9, I watched all the Chuckies and it didn't scare me at all as a kid. But when they put on Jason, the Jason movies, that kind of freaked me out as a kid. Because you remember the old school 80s Jason movies that started showing more and more brutal kills throughout the years. Like
Kyle
Jason
writes in, don't let Alan corrupt my beautiful boy. Yeah, be careful with Alan. He's a bad guy.
I know. Thank you, Kyle. Here's the thing. I'm trying to be more positive, and like B-Mac is a cool guy, and like
He's from the West Coast, the golden blonde beauty. Can't live without him. This guy makes me freaky. Aaron, the quarterback, is everyone's sweetie. If he leaves his girlfriend, he'll be my next beefy. Aaron.
We're just killing it, and I mean in a good way, not in a suicidal murder way. But
to be clear,
yeah.
you're not an expert in that either.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But I love Gators edits. One of my favorite one is the fake Jake Asman show.
See, everyone liked Gators edits until the Rick Kent video, and then Rick Kent, unfortunately, him and Gator, it feels like there's some tension right now.
It's always gonna be that one guy that just doesn't get it, but I understand. Like certain people don't like to be made fun of, but I'm like,
it's Rick Kent. Do you kids want a Jake Asman gift membership? Yeah! Hold on then, and away we go.
That one's funny. I don't know. See, well, no,
it's funny. I just don't know why Rick Kent is farting.
I mean, fart humor is funny. I don't want Rick to be mad at me, but like, that was a funny scene, and I know what they're trying to do with that scene. Like, there's been a few of those scenes from different cartoons over the years throughout Cartoon Network, especially Cow and Chicken and Dexter's Laboratory had a few scenes like in there do the retro. I know my retro stuff because when Boomerang came out, I'm like, when Boomerang came out, I'm like, okay, Mom, Dad, I know you guys give me allowance, but if you guys can just pay for Boomerang, you don't have to pay me allowance. I'll do all my chores. And I just sat there and watched nothing but Boomerang growing up through the summertime because it kept me busy. And a pup named Scooby-Doo would be on there, Huckleberry, Jabberjaw, old Scooby-Doo episodes, the old Scooby-Doo marathon movies with Barney Five and all of them. That's why I love the retro stuff when it comes to cartoons. That's why I have respect for all the 70s and 60s and 80s cartoons.
You're a man of cartoon history.
Well, that and the thing that like I used to love watching ESPN Classics, and they decided to pull that off there. They realized if they didn't pull ESPN Classics out there, there'd be more people probably into sports these days. Because there's ESPN Classics. So many NCAA championship games or March Madness games they would play on the days that March Madness wasn't on. When it was
Curly
around,
writes in, Chiefs fan, thoughts on the war of northern aggression.
what's that?
That's what Gary thinks the Civil War is actually called, but it's not.
Oh God, that's kind of. Anyone siding with the South? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Gary was on the South Side. That's what people have
Ew, come
speculated.
on, man. They fought for. As a person who was in BLM marches, I can't say that. I would be on the North Side. But I was in the peaceful ones. I wasn't in the ones tearing shit up. I was in the peaceful ones. In St. Louis. I was in the peaceful ones. I wasn't tearing shit up. I ain't risking going to jail.
No, you're a good citizen.
Well, like, if I told my friends, if I were to go back to the Malcolm X, Martin Luther King time, I would be in the peaceful protests. I would not pull Malcolm X shit. Because
Thank you for clarifying.
Because like growing up, yeah, I lived through a lot of anger and aggression and watching that stuff, but witnessing that firsthand, like
Northern aggression, or just like
like growing up in Chicago, I witnessed gang on gang violence, same race on same violence, same gang members on gang member violence, and I'm like, there's gotta be a way to do this peacefully. And that's what made me more and more of a peaceful person. But like, if I ever saw someone attacking someone for their race, everything goes out the window. I'm gonna catch a case. Like hypothetically, if one of the Black Chiefs fans, Black Jet fans, whatever team, someone's making fun of them because of their skin, I'm getting a mugshot because I ain't gonna stand there and let anyone be racist. Not at all. That's how Chicago made me. Like, they told me, if you're going to jail, have a mug shot for defending someone. Have a drug shot for have a mug shot for defending someone who's being picked on by race. My bad. Sorry for that. Like, I stand up against the racism and all that. Like, that's what I like when I grow up in Chicago. We would do the peace marches. Like when it was police brutality, we would do nothing but peace marches. We would march all the way down to the water tower. We would march hours into the water tower, then march all the way to the west side, and then march all the way back and be back later at night into the south side. So I'm all for peaceful protests.
Well said, Chiefs fan. Well said.
But one last thing before I go. I really hope y'all win. I just had to put about this football. I know you guys want to draft pick. But like, I'd rather y'all win just to keep the Dolphins out. Like I don't want the Dolphins or the Broncos, and I'd rather have Cincy in. I know that's a threat, but I would just rather have Cincy in. But like, and one more thing, I'm not gonna make fun of other show members because they want me to. I'm like, I'm sorry, Alan. I'm not gonna rip on people, but I'm like, if that changes your opinion about me, so be it. Like. We're all here to be a family. We're all here to be friends. Yes, we might beef every once in a while. Yes, we might want to choke each other like Bart got choked by Homer Simpson, but we're not here to throw hands, and we're not here like just to throw hands constantly. And by throw hands, I mean fight. If you don't know what I mean, people. Like, we're here to be a family. And like, you guys went through a lot this season and last season as Jet fans. I understand that's eating you alive mentally, but like, you can't like eat each other alive. No cannibalism. That's all, Jake.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
I think it's a good way to end it. No cannibalism should be the lasting message from today's show. We covered a lot. A lot was said. A lot happened. I mean, I don't think I have any further comments. I think Chiefs fans summed it up best. On what we're all about around here. Definitely not cannibalism. Let's make that clear. Anyway, thank you to all who watched. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for a show this afternoon. It won't be at 4, though, because the show is 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I have stuff to do because I've done a lot of radio this week, and I'm behind on a bunch of stuff. But we will be back later. So if you're watching Notre Dame, Georgia, you can watch it with us. We talk Jets and whatever else. Anyway, thank you all. You guys are the best. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everyone that gifted a membership today. We will update the names. We added 16 members to the show for the raffle. So thank you all. Can't say that enough. 2025 off to a rip-roaring start, as my pal Joe B would say. Thank you again. Join the Patreon if you're interested in that Knicks game. Please let me know. I'm going to have to probably request more tickets and see if I could get some more. But it's first come, first serve. I needed 26, and I think we have maybe 5 or 6 spots left. So let me know immediately if you're joining us on March 22nd. All the details are on Patreon and Discord. All right. I've talked enough. God bless you all. And to all out there, remember one thing and one thing only.
The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back. J-E-T-S, Jets. You're a degenerate gambler, and you're in your mid-50s. Who bets on the Jets? Have you not learned anything about betting? The Jets are going to come back. No, they're not. They're never going to come back. They're never going to come back.
Hey, Bills Mafia! You're in the wrong stadium, you friggin' a-hole!
You guys football fans? I think the Pats could take the conference this year. I mean, the Dolphins are overrated and the Jets are choke artists.
I wouldn't say that, Mr. Deeds.
Why is that, though?
You own the Jets, Deeds.
I do? Whoa. That sucks.
You think that scares me? I'm not scared of you, you pansy!
Yeah, I'll put my whole fist through your face, you friggin' a-hole!
Hey, keep moving, you hum!
Who do you want to win?
The goddamn Jets.
Jets!